Today we will look at the latest developments of the SEC lawsuit, why Garlinghouse is hopeful for SEC's new administration, and technical analysis on XRP. Subscribe and click on the bell if you haven't yet, and let's dive into it. Welcome to the Money Side. What's the latest development of the lawsuit? Towards the allege from the SEC, Ripple has disproved the SEC's argument and issued a response, stating that as a cryptocurrency, XRP is out of the SEC's jurisdiction, and it has already been recognized as a virtual currency by several other worldwide regulators, including those in the UK, Japan, and Singapore. Last week, the SEC refused to provide documents related to Bitcoin and Ethereum, arguing that the request has nothing to do with this case. However, Ripple Labs submitted a response letter to Magistrate Sarah Netburn on March 26th, requesting the SEC to submit the required documents, because they don't understand why Ripple is considered a security while Bitcoin and Ethereum are not. A lot has happened in the 3 months since the case. In particular, the price of Ripple has been damaged and has been suspended by key partners and many exchanges. However, as the case progressed, to some extent, the price of Ripple has recovered from a low of 18 cents US. From the current situation, there are mainly 4 motions in this case. The first is to force the company to discover documents related to the financial information of CEO Garlinghouse and Chairman Larson. The second is the motion of the SEC against Ripple's fair notification defense. The third is Garlinghouse and Larson's motion to dismiss the lawsuit against them. Finally, Ripple filed a motion on why the SEC took 8 years to take legal action. Now the U.S. Judge Sarah Netburn has directed both parties, the SEC and Ripple, to hold a telephonic discovery conference on Tuesday, April 6, 2021. Holders are asking the relist of XRP online. The cryptocurrency industry and investors are watching the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple, not only for the determination of XRP's legal status, but for any legal precedent it could set for other cryptocurrencies. XRP is currently the 7th largest cryptocurrency in the world by market capitalization, which is more than 25 billion US dollars. The price of XRP has increased by almost 20% in the past 2 weeks and is currently trading at 56 cents US dollars, which is close to the level in December before the lawsuit. A possible reason why the holders have been vigorously calling on the relist of XRP may be due to the new progress in this case. The judge questioned the SEC attorney. Everyone who sold XRP, including you and me, are selling illegal securities. The SEC lawyer responded, no, under Section 4, only Ripple and affiliates of Ripple can have sold XRP illegally, and that everyone who sold XRP was not selling illegal securities. The answers of the SEC attorney can be interpreted that crypto exchanges based out of the U.S. will not be responsible for the XRP selling and trading. However, only the final result will tell if the U.S. exchanges relist XRP. The analysts at Bex Plus believe that even if XRP loses the lawsuit, the price of XRP should not fall to the situation where it was litigated at the beginning, because so far, not all exchanges have delisted the currency. For example, exchange giant Binance still supports XRP trading, and Huobi supports the purchase and selling of XRP. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse slams the SEC, hopeful for the new administration. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse expressed displeasure at the SEC lawsuit and the state of the U.S. regulatory framework surrounding cryptocurrencies. He also mentioned that a conversation with the incoming SEC team was in the cards. Garlinghouse talked about the company's lawsuit with the Securities and Exchange Commission on Bloomberg Technology. Speaking on the show, Garlinghouse described the lawsuit as not just an attack on Ripple, but on the entire cryptocurrency industry. The debacle kicked off when the regulatory body slapped Ripple with a lawsuit last December. The SEC charged Ripple for allegedly conducting an unregistered securities offering. This birthed argument surrounding the classification of its native XRP currency. The Ripple effect. Ripple vehemently opposed the SEC's classification of the XRP. It argued that XRP was not a security, but a cryptocurrency similar to Bitcoin or Ethereum. The saga has heated up in the past few months, and Brad Garlinghouse says that they will fight vigorously against the charges. He further pointed out that the U.S. SEC was the only regulatory watchdog to deem XRP a security among other developed countries. The lawsuit had a brief, disastrous effect on the company. The price of XRP fell more than 70% following the announcement of the lawsuit. Many exchanges even delisted XRP to avoid facing SEC sanctions. It's seen some relief in the past month or so and is currently trading for 56 cents. The new SEC administration could turn the tables. With a few days to go in the office, the Jay Clayton-led SEC sued Ripple in December 2020. This raised suspicion amongst many that the lawsuit was a personal attack on Ripple and its founders, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. Garlinghouse said, "As you may know and may recall, Jay Clayton, as the chair of the SEC, the day before he left office, brought this lawsuit against Ripple and against me personally. We don't think that made a lot of sense, given that XRP had been trading for 8 years. And so, to do that the day before he leaves his position, I think it was misguided." There appears to be more than just a glimmer of hope for Ripple, with Gary Gensler set to take over the helm of affairs in the SEC. Gensler seems to be more open-minded towards cryptocurrency, following some pro-Bitcoin comments in the past. When asked about the possibility of a settlement, Garlinghouse shared this optimism for the new administration. He said, "I'm hopeful with Gary Gensler and the new chair likely to be confirmed in a couple of weeks. There's an opportunity to have a conversation with that new leadership as he brings his team in." Garlinghouse's words are hopeful for us. Let's take a look at the chart. If we look at the 2-hour time frame perspective, ignore the FOMO and ignore the hype. I am mega bullish on XRP, but I want to know what lies ahead so I can buy more at a cheaper price. The recent events, the established formational structure, and what to expect in the upcoming times. XRP USD completed the massive triangle formation on the global perspectives bullishly to the upside and has shown up with initial solid bullish alignments with the potential for further continuations. Now on the more local time frame perspectives, I discovered a decisive formation XRP USD establishes that can lie ground for next continuations and confirm the already developed bullish conclusions. Therefore, I detected all the important levels and likely destinies we should consider. As when looking at my chart now, we can watch there how XRP USD is forming this main broadening wedge formation marked in blue with the boundaries extracting. Within this formation, XRP USD has the coherent wave count with the waves A to E that almost already completed, with the wave E running into the upper boundary and testing it. Now XRP USD continues further with the stabilization within the wedge formation, and when it manages to stabilize further bullishly, this can be the setup for the breakout. When the XRP USD manages to finally bounce above the upper boundary and close there stabilizing above this boundary, it will be the setup for the next continuations to the upside. As the wedge formation finally completed, this will also confirm to the wave count and the major wave C. Besides that, also the protraction of the wave E. After these likely conclusions showed up and XRP USD appoints the initial targets at around the 64-cent zone, it has to be elevated how it continues further from there, and if there can come a potential reversal or further continuations. In this case, as XRP USD has important resistances in the global perspectives, a reversal is not unlikely. Please keep in mind, we are not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and to click on the subscribe button below. Turn on notifications to get informed whenever we post our amazing content. We'll see you in the next video.